I'm Kathy with Canyon Walker Connections, and this is a challenge video for Christians. If you're a Christian, do you ever wonder what voices that you're supposed to listen to and the people you're supposed to follow in the dialogue for inclusion of the gay, lesbian, bisexual, and transgender community in the church, or on the issues of civil rights for the gay community? Lots of people are still trying to find their way and trying to find a path in this and their own truth on this conversation. And if who you're listening to has fear-based facts, and if you hear discrimination and it's not the kind of views that align with your revelation of the Jesus that you follow, then you should be asking, is this the kind of person that I should be following? Are these the views that I should be listening to? Well, this week on Line of Fire, the host of it, Michael Brown, had a very chummy conversation with Scott Lively of Defend the Family. And here's this mistake that both men make at the core of their beliefs, and then misinformation and lies and distortion about the gay community. Both of them believe at the core of their beliefs that sexual orientation is something that can be changed. They think that it's a behavior and not some as opposed to an innate part of somebody. So Brown tells us repeatedly that he was saved dramatically from a heroin addiction at the age of 16, and Lively tells us also that he was saved dramatically from his addiction to both drugs and alcohol. So the thing the two of them take is this healing, reparative, restoring power that God does have, and they apply that truth of God on top of a lie of sexual orientation is just a behavior. So if you've got a lie and you've got that at the base and you take the Word of God, the truth, and you put it on top of that, it does not make the entire stack of truth. This thing is still a lie. So Lively tells us in this conversation that the main reason he was in Uganda was for some conferences on pornography and obscenity. But what he saw that he could, how he could impact Uganda was that he could bring Uganda to be the first place in the world for a Christian form of reparative therapy for sexual orientation. So again, he's taking sexual orientation as if it's a behavior, laying the Word of God on top of this lie and hoping to make something good out of it. Now, what he should have reasoned is if he had really been listening to God, I know he says he is, but Uganda already has a problem within their family and social structure of violence towards women. And you would think that a Christian man running an organization called Defend the Family, would first care about perhaps the treatment of women within those relationships. Now, if I were thinking about that and looking at that society, I would say, if I go in there with some kind of radical decisions or radical suggestions, which he did, they might abuse these suggestions and it might lead to violence and discrimination and harassment and death. But Lively didn't think this one through. So he says that he is not responsible for the Kill the Gays bill, but all you have to do really is look at the videos. Just look at his own words. Watch his own teaching in the churches and the Ugandan parliament, and I think you'll find the truth. So if you're trying to find someone to follow in this conversation, and you don't know who to follow and you don't know who to believe, just listen. Be careful about who you're following and listen to the tone. And if you hear discrimination of any kind towards any class or group of people, you should have a check inside of you that says, maybe this is not a Jesus action. And if you hear fear-based facts, then you should also wonder, is this person listening to Jesus? So if you're looking to find the Jesus answer and the Jesus truth in this dialogue of inclusion of the gay, lesbian, bisexual, and transgender community in the church and on the issues of civil rights, I suggest you listen to tones. I suggest you listen to, if you hear fear and misinformation, and if you hear discrimination, you should really wonder about who you're following. So my suggestion is, I'm seeing Brown and Lively get pretty chummy, and I know that there's lies. I know that there's lies, and I know that there's misinformation, but it shouldn't be too difficult for just an untrained ear to hear that there's fear-based facts going on and that there's discrimination. And if that's not the Jesus that you follow, then I suggest you don't take your lead from either of these two men. I have a post on this. I just put the post up on the radio show that I was listening to. Go to my website, linked below, and you will find the entire post on this. Thanks for listening. I'm Kathy with Canyon Walker Connections.